what I used out of my hospital labor and baby bag video, because these videos I found very useful. A lot of times you tend to overpack and take a bunch of things that you never even touch. So I've watched with both pregnancies other what I used out of my bag videos. So I just wanted to let you know kind of what was helpful for us, and then I don't know, you can take it for whatever you want, but I always found these videos helpful. So I'm pulling my list up here, and Annabelle's a little fussy right now. I think she's trying to poop. I don't know for sure. Huh. So she's 9 weeks old, so been out of the hospital a little while, but the number one thing that I am so happy I had, and that I spent the money and went out and got, was Sybands. They're PSI bands, and this is what they look like. They're like Sea-Bands, except they're plastic, and they help with nausea. In my last labor, I was so nauseous. I never got sick, but I just felt really queasy, like almost the whole time. And this pregnancy, I used Sea-Bands early in my pregnancy to help with the nauseousness with morning sickness. I was one of the people who never threw up, but I was always nauseous, like always nauseous. So I wanted something that could go in water, and Sea-Bands are like a material, like a fabric material, and these are plastic. So that's why I went out and bought the Sybands in addition to the Sea-Bands. So what you do is they're more effective if you use them before you're nauseous. So like they're for motion sickness. So like before you get on a boat, you would put them on, and it prevents the nauseousness from even happening. It also can help like kind of lessen the nauseousness if you put them on when you're nauseous, but they're most effective in preventing it from happening, which is the best, right? If you don't want to be nauseous at all. So as soon as I woke up and was having contractions, I put these on, and I wore them all the way until almost for 24 hours, like all the way through the next night, because after I had her, I was feeling nauseous because I was on Pitocin for postpartum hemorrhage for almost 10 hours after I had her. So that was making me nauseous, just having contractions all the time. And I wasn't in labor, but it was trying to get my uterus to clamp down. It was making me nauseous. So I put these on at 4:30 in the morning. I took them off about midnight, so a little less than a day. But it really did help. I didn't get sick at all in labor. When I was in transition, it's really common to either like start vomiting or hiccuping or burping. I did burp a couple of times, and I felt like a little bit nauseous, but I think it would have been a lot worse without these. So it was way better than the first time around with my son when I didn't have him. So that's like my number one thing. I don't know if you can see the tag there. So Sybands though. And they come in a bunch of colors and stuff. You can get them at Bye Bye Baby. Walgreens, I think, has them. I don't know. Just call, if you don't want to drive there, just call and ask first. Oh, excuse you. Okay, so that was like my number one must-have. I got the flameless, like, I forget what they're called, but they were in my video. They're like flameless candles, except they're scented. I used them when I was in labor at home. Like, I put them around the bathtub with the lights out, and I labored at home like that. And I didn't use them at the hospital because I was in transition when I got there, so like I was doing good just making it to the hospital. But in my postpartum room too, I used them, and it made my room smell really good. All the nurses were like, "Oh, it smells so good in here." And also, it's good, like, it's a really dim light you can have on in your room, so you can kind of function in the room without waking the baby up if the baby's sleeping. So that was good. And so I definitely would take those again. I took a towel and a plastic bag in the car with me to put like on the seat in case my water broke, because I knew like labor was pretty progressed at that point and my water hadn't broken yet and I didn't want to ruin my car. So that was something I don't think I talked about, but at the last minute decided that I needed. I had a playlist of some music on my phone, and it was like ocean relaxation music. I listened to that when I was laboring here at home while I was in the bath with the lights out, and that helped. So a good playlist of like calming music that you would want to hear in labor. Our camera. Then I took a piece of paper. I don't know if I showed this or not. Maybe I did. Hey! Hi! Of all my medical history. So like my doula's phone number, my doctor's phone number, my phone number, my husband's emergency contacts, my previous pregnancy history and complications, this current pregnancy, miscarriages, all the questions that they ask you, anything you've been treated for, medications. I had a list of it all, and thank goodness, because, and I took like 5 copies with me. Okay. I know your tummy hurts. I took like 5 copies with me because you never, when you give it to someone, you might not see it again. So that actually happened. I gave it to the triage nurse so she could put everything in the computer and then just read it back to me and ask if it was accurate, and I could say yes. And that's all I could get out at that point. So that was good. But then like when I got moved to the delivery room, the nurses there asked me all the same questions, and I don't know why it wasn't in the computer, but it wasn't, and so I just handed them another copy of it. So several copies of your medical history and things, that was like a lifesaver. If you're planning on getting to the hospital in late stages of labor, I highly recommend that. And I had my driver's license and insurance card in my pocket, so pretty much I just got there and like threw it on the counter with my medical history and said, here you go, I need a room. Snacks, we definitely ate them, and like after we had her. Hey, are you hungry? Okay, let me see. Okay guys, so sorry, I have to change the angle because I'm feeding her now, but yeah, snacks, we ate snacks in like the 2 days we were in the hospital. We just took like granola bars, Goldfish. We didn't use any of the hard candies, but we had them for anybody who wanted them. And then I took a nightgown, and that was really nice. I showered when I got up to my room, my postpartum room, and I changed into that. And that was easier for like when they had to check my bleeding and stuff because I was hemorrhaging. So they checked me a lot. And by the second day, I was able just to wear like another pair of pajamas that I brought, which were pants and a nursing tank. And that went well. So yeah, my own pajamas are good. And some people were asking if it's okay if you wear pants, if you know, because they do have to check your bleeding and things. It wasn't a problem at all. They didn't make me change. They just worked around them. Oh, if you have a C-section, you might not want pants, so you might want to bring a gown. And the nightgown I had was a nursing nightgown, and so were the pajamas. Last time around, I just wore the hospital gown, and like there are all these buttons on each side, and it just wasn't like my favorite at all because it made nursing in the hospital really difficult. So bringing my own nursing pajamas was really nice. I also brought 2 nursing bras because I didn't know how many times I was going to be in and out of the shower, in and out of the bath. And I wanted them to labor and deliver in. So I just wound up wearing one. The only thing I would change, I wore just the Bravado nursing bra in black, which I recommend black if you're going to be in water. But the one I have goes over your head. There's no like snaps in the back. So they did have to run an IV and fluids and everything because I was hemorrhaging. And then my bra was wet because I was in the water. And then when I was like, you know, settling down after the birth, I wanted to change it because it was wet and it was making me cold. And we had to like move the bag through it So one that snaps in the back might be a little bit better, but that was the only thing about nursing bras. I did bring some of my own pads, and I used them because the first day I used like the what the hospital gives you, and then after that I just used my own because the bleeding tapers off. And after I hemorrhaged, I really didn't bleed that much, so my own pads were fine. Hair bands, like these things, I took a lot of them and used them. There was a birth ball in the delivery room, and I used it for one contraction because I was feeling pain in my back, like my contraction was in my back, and my doula was like, here's the birth ball, try to like lean on it. So like my belly was hanging, and then all the pain went back to my stomach, so it helped flip the baby. So different things like that might be good, like not like head down, it was already head down, but you know, it might have rotated the head a little bit to change the back labor that I was having. I had a robe. I wore it over my nursing nightgown. It was like a set that I got from Destination Maternity a couple years ago, but it was just a robe and a nightgown that matched. And then sandals for the shower because I will not shower in a public shower without wearing flip-flops, at least on my feet. My husband took those too and used them. We also got a gift to Connor from Annabelle. So he got a little stuffed animal Elmo at the hospital from his sister. And doula, I used my doula. And we brought our own pillows, and we used those as well. And that's all that's on my list of things that we actually used. Besides like obvious things like clothes and phones and cameras and computers and things like that, those were like kind of labor, delivery, recovery specific. So let me know if you have any questions about any of those things. I said I was going to take a crock pot to keep the towels warm to put against the perineum. We did use wet compresses against the perineum, but they were just from the hospital, and my doula like made them warm. And my OB used mineral oil to help keep everything able to stretch. So that's why I didn't tear, so that is good. And then I did have rice socks, and I used them at home, and I put them in the microwave before we got in the car to go to the hospital, warmed them up, and then was like in such a hurry and in so much pain I forgot about them. So I probably would use those if I had them. And I did use a heating pad postpartum for the after pains because mine were pretty intense because I was on Cytotec and Pitocin for the hemorrhage, and breastfeeding, and it was my second pregnancy. And the after pains get longer and they last, or they get stronger and they last longer with each additional pregnancy. So that did really help with the after pains, just the heat of that. But you want to make sure to keep your baby away from the heating pads. So I would put like the heating pad on my belly, and then a blanket, and then a pillow, and then put her on top of the pillow to put some space between that heat and her. But yeah, it was, I took a little bit more than what we used, but I was happy I had the options, and I was happy that I had my labor bag packed for home too, because I really do think like in the early labor is when I really used most of it. And even though I was at home, it was nice to have it all in one place. So especially if I needed to like ask my husband to get me something, I would just send him to that little suitcase that I packed instead of like all over the house. So yeah, but that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this helps someone. Any of you who are getting ready to have your babies, good luck. You can do it, and it's an amazing experience. So I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.